Hello, this video on Pluto retrograde is for anybody who is wondering about the age of Aquarius, about humanity's evolution, about how Pluto, the transformative planet, is part of this Aquarian age being birthed as we speak, as we go through 2025 with all of its changes. We know Pluto entered Aquarius this last time on November 19th, 2024, and Pluto went retrograde in May of 2025. If you have planets or points in early Aquarius, especially within the first 3 degrees, then this video could be very interesting for you. My name is Renee Varnador with Soul Portal Journeys, and I'm doing a Pluto retrograde series, even though the retrograde is going to last until October 13th, and there's only a couple of really exciting things happening. And usually we galactic astrologers, or I like to call myself a galactic anchor, because I anchor in the light from the stars and the information so that we can understand where we're heading. If you are kind of nervous about stepping off into the wild unknown, then this video might be helpful to you to get a little bit of hints about where Pluto's going. So you're looking at a slide that says Pluto retrograded on the Footprint Nebula. Now, I have a theory that wherever planets retrograde, whatever degrees in the 360-degree circle of the zodiac, wherever a planet retrogrades, whatever is also on that retrograde degree is very important for understanding what the retrograde is all about. Now, retrogrades happen when planets appear to be going backwards, and we talk a lot about about Mercury and Venus because they go retrograde all the time. But Pluto, when Pluto goes retrograde, he's retrogrades for a very long time, for months and months. From May to October is a pretty long time for a retrograde. And a lot of people don't pick up on the changes that reflection and when we're in reflection, when a planet is retrograde, we're in reflection about it. We're reevaluating where it's been and where it's going. We're looking for its footprint, so to speak, especially since Pluto's only made it through 3 degrees so far, 3 degrees and 44 minutes when it went retrograde. So it hasn't come into Aquarius very much, but it has come in enough for us to get a sense of what's happening. And we know that AI exploded, right? But we're also realizing that AI, artificial intelligence, I didn't have a good feeling about it at first because I thought it was artificial, like the name. I thought that it's soulless. It has no depth and understanding of humans. How could it might be fine for information, but it's not going to be, take over my job. So what I'm finding is that actually, this kind of intelligence is reflective, and it shows up differently for every person that uses it. So we're finding that AI is really RI, or reflective intelligence. And I realized that as Pluto was starting into its retrograde period. And I also noticed that Pluto is conjunct a nebula. And if you know anything about nebulas, you know that there's many different kinds. And many of them are diffuse, which means that they kind of hide the they're different shapes, and they come about at different phases in a star. And if the star is really big and it goes in supernova and creates all kind of gas and and that then gets pulled back into like a gravitational pull. So there's a lot of gravity going on. There's like this expansions, explosions, and then there's gravity that pulls it back into a contraction or a shape. And this particular Footprint Nebula is very interesting because it's a reflective nebula. So just as AI is being changed into reflective um, intelligence, we're looking at the footprint for the Footprint Nebula being a reflective nebula. So in and so this is a picture, a NASA picture of it, and you can see that it's got a lot of light and density going on this side, and then this side is much fainter. And it's this kind of like it's kind of I'm looking at this and I see the infinity symbol. I see a figure eight. And for me, these are things that I use because they're so powerful. Our bodies, when we're healing, when we're doing healing, our bodies love figure eights. So we do figure eights patterns to help us heal, and we do figure eight patterns to help us connect to um, the places above us and below us. So this was very interesting for me to discover. I'm going to be doing a couple more videos as Pluto conjuncts Albiero and Altar. Last time, Pluto went retrograde within 1 minute of being exact of Altar. So this start of courage was really reflective for me of this period of Pluto going into Aquarius. And for me, courage has to do with stepping out into the unknown. And since Pluto's been in Aquarius this time, I've gotten a realization that change happens all the time, that humans actually are change. And so to be afraid of the unknown, to be afraid of what's changing, that's just work I need to do to let go of my clinging and what I'm clinging to. Pluto's been on my 0 degrees ascendant for a couple of years, getting rid of layer after layer of all of these personas that I put on, all these occupations I thought were me, all these relationships I thought were me, all these beliefs that most of them turned out to be limited beliefs that I thought were me. And then some really heartfelt things like, oh, I'm so deep, that I found out that got stripped away from me because I realized that that doesn't that it makes it harder for me to communicate with other humans if I'm so deep, right? So I try as best I can, instead of being so deep and so off in the stars, to be a galactic anchor and bring what I'm learning back so that other people can figure it out with me, can hold it with me. So that's coming up. But let's have a little bit more about this Footprint Nebula. It's in the Cygnus constellation, and that's the constellation of the Swan. So this really beautiful, you can kind of see this feathery, on both ends, there's kind of a feathery feeling to this nebula. Seems to me like it belongs in the Swan Nebula. The Swan constellation. And this nebula is at 3.41 degrees. So it's within 3 degrees of Pluto's recent retrograde point, which was 3.44. So close enough for me. Okay. Some people like exact portals, and there will be an exact portal coming up, but we'll see. When you receive a profound insight, okay, and maybe you're not even sure what it means yet. Maybe you've been trying to figure out are we in the age of Aquarius? How do humans evolve? Are we really stepping into the unknown, or are we really, or is this chaos that we're feeling with hierarchies and top-down oppression going to continue on for millennia? Or are we learning from everything that's being revealed and what we're seeing that that's not what we want, and we're going to be willing to go into our hearts and create from within our hearts instead of creating new saviors and demigods and kings and, you know, autocrats, and on multiple levels, not just on a country level, but, on a business level and on a personal level and everything else. Are we going to continue creating these hierarchies, or are we going to say, you know what, I'm going to birth something completely new and different from within my own heart, and I'm going to first communicate that and feel that and work with that within the groups of people attracted to me. So I belong to several circles where that's what we do. We look within our own hearts. And now I hold one, and I'm going to tell you more about that at the end of this video if you want to be part of it. So let's say you receive oh wow, I just got this profound insight, but you're not sure what it means yet, because a lot of times insights have to go through a spiraling cycle before we understand over time the different phases and the different ways that we've been working with the insight to bring it down and in so that others can see it too. What is it? What's going on with this? And so we kind of work with it a little bit before we tell everybody all about it, right? But if you check the morning of astrology, you get a big hint about the new vision, which is why I like to look at where Pluto is retrograding, what its retrograde points are. Because when Pluto goes into reflecting upon itself, I want to be there with it, figuring it out with Pluto, where it's been and where it's going in Aquarius. So looking at the stars and deep space objects on the same degree the planet goes retrograde tells us about the soul learning available to us during the retrograde period of the planet. So the soul learning. So it's on a lot of it is humanity's evolution is on a soul level, because we've been, in so many, or we are currently parallel so many places with so many lives, so many, our soul is in so many places all at once, having experiences, and we get to have amazing experiences here in 3D. Time and space helps to focus us, which is great, because if we have so many lives, how do we focus in on the one we're living now on Earth? That's the important one. That's the one where we can manifest. That's the one where we can create. That's the one that's having a huge transition right now, and we can create from within our own heart and anchor in our relationship to the Earth and what we're bringing to Earth at this time. As a child, I had a Pisces moon, and I was off in the ethers most of the time of my childhood and couldn't speak about it to anybody because it made no sense to anybody else. But all that stuff that I journaled and talked to people, parents and guardians about, all of it was just me expressing, before my time. And this is my time. So here's another picture, a more current picture with a bigger telescope. This one kind of has a green. I like the white one better because it reminds me of the swan. But this one, you get it more of an idea of what's happening. And there's a thing called planetary nebula. And so this is a protoplanetary nebula. And it's another name for it is M1-92, which just means that people have been looking at this object for hundreds of years. And there's a whole catalog by Messier of 1700 French astronomer who looked at lots and lots of objects in the sky that he could barely see. So this particular nebula obscures its star, and they're thinking that it was first thought of as a reflection nebula, which is interesting. And it was discovered in 1946 by a German-American astronomer, Rudolf Minkowski. And so because he'd been observing it, right? And he'd been observing it, through time. You don't just, a person just doesn't put their telescope in one place and go, oh, there it is. I'm going to, I get to name this thing now. There's a lot of research and cataloging that goes through an investigation of the whole quadrants before you will tell anybody else, hey, there's this object here. I've been watching it. This is what it's doing. So he was watching this one in 1946. And so he got to name it, and he named it the Footprint Nebula. And in 1946, men wore shoes where the ball of the shoe was here and the heel of the shoe was back here. So I thought it was interesting that when he saw that, what he saw was a footprint. So as he was walking on the ground, maybe walking his dog in the morning, I don't even know if he had a dog, but there he's seeing his little footprints in the dirt or in the sand, and seeing, then going to his telescope and seeing this Footprint Nebula, and just the path. What path are we on? We've never been here before. We've never been in these kinds of changes, fast and rapid. Because we're evolving, our evolution is speeding up. It took humanity a very long time to become agricultural. Okay, and now, oh my gosh, change is happening so fast. We have new ideas every month as different new moons are coming in and full moons are coming in, and wow, it's amazing. So Pluto was actually conjunct this footprint before it went retrograde on April 10th. While it's in retrograde, it's going to go back over it on May 28th. Okay. And so that's coming up in a couple of days from this video. And then it's going to go direct when Pluto comes back. Pluto's not going to go back all the way to Capricorn this time, which is why it's really staying in Aquarius. And it's coming out at 1 degree and some change. And so it's not even going to go all the way to 0. It's not even going to go all the way to my ascendant point. But I feel like in one way, I'm done with that work. And now I'm trying to understand, what is Pluto doing for all of us on a evolution of humanity level. So we're going to see Pluto move direct on January 31st, but he's not going to go direct then. He's going to go direct in October 13th. What he's going to be in direct motion by the time he hits this point again. Okay, but it'll be after he stations and goes direct on the 13th of October. He's going to hit this footprint, this nebulae, again on the 26th, January 31st, 2026. Lots happening in 2026. Okay, and by February, some amazing things are going to be happening with Saturn and Neptune together at 0 degrees Aquarius. So everybody's talking about that, but in this one I'm looking at. So I was telling you about what it takes to really be reflective and to see what it is we are creating that's never existed before. And this is what I've actually been doing. I got guidance from the angels. I saw angels all my life, and I started receiving guidance and taking it seriously, and started telling other people about it, and then started doing guided meditations where I just am saying what I'm seeing the angels show me as we're going through the meditation. So I've been doing this for the last four years since I started in really getting serious about astrology and moon phases. And at every full new moon, we've been connecting into what is being conceived within me now and looking at that vision of that, and then looking at how can I take this feeling that arrived, this unknown elements, because they haven't been here before, they're not solid. What can I do in my daily life to connect into this feeling so that I can manifest with this energy, so that I can receive information coming from the planets, the stars, Pluto, all of the moon, all these amazing, amazing ways of getting information. You can see this is kind of like me getting the information, but I'm not special. All of us can get this kind of information coming to us. We just have to know we can, and have to receive, and have to be willing to access this information. So if you want to, I have a whole group, a group membership, and it's called Intuitives, and I have a link for it in this video. And what we do is moon meditations. We do a live on Zoom moon meditation for the full moons and the new moons. The full moon one is going to happen on June 9th of 2025. And then on the Mondays, these are Mondays, like moon meditation Mondays right now. And the Mondays that we don't meet live for the new moon or the full moon, I will send out a video that you can watch, at it'll be premiering the same time that we have the class, and you can watch it whenever. And if you're part of this membership, you can watch. You don't have to come live. There will be a replay and you can watch that. So if Pacific time just doesn't work for you because you're asleep, then, or, it's really late, then there's always the replays. And there's a community that communicates and talks about what it is that they received from within their heart, and what it is that they're going to be doing every day. And by meeting more often, I'm hoping that people will hold each other accountable for what we're bringing in, what we're making part of our daily life, grounded and manifested in the earth, on the earth, and connecting to the help that we're receiving. We've got a couple people working with Archangel Metatron. We have a couple people working with Mary Magdalene. We have some people working with all kinds of guides from different religious traditions. And we have some people that are working direct with universal forces or divine source. So, and we're all a spark of the divine. So we come together, and it doesn't matter what name you have for your guide. The important thing is that you're connected to them. Like, I love angels, and then I realized, some of these angels I've been working with are star beings, and that's okay too. There's all of this. This is all, we're all from the same place, divine source, and we're all there now, although we're focused in time and space to manifest here on the earth plane now. So awesome. If any of that I just said resonated with you at all, check out the link below. If you made it this far, check out the link below and see if you want to join us on June 9th for a full moon. What is being illuminated? Woo! Yeah, meditation, guided meditation with the angels. So love and blessings to you. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.